Hello friends, welcome back to our AS. Welcome to the discussion on daily MCQ. Today is 14th of July 2021 and now we are going to discuss 5 current affair based MCQs. तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं. First let us discuss the question that was asked yesterday. Yesterday's question was, who is the head of newly formed Ministry of Cooperation? And some of you have given the correct answer as well. Yesterday it was Divya Vasisht who gave the correct answer. Now let's begin. Now let's begin the discussion. So this newly formed Ministry of Cooperation is headed by our Home Minister Amit Shah. So Amit Shah will be the head of this newly formed Ministry of Cooperation. Now what is this Ministry of Cooperation is the very important thing what we need to understand. This Ministry of Cooperation is that ministry which is going to look upon the cooperative societies. Till now, the cooperative societies are taken care by the Agricultural Ministry. But now, this Ministry of Cooperation will take care of this cooperative societies. Okay, the Ministry of Cooperation will provide a separate administrative, legal and policy framework for strengthening the cooperative movement in the society. So the cooperative movement plays actually a very important role for the development of lower sections of the society, especially the agricultural sector. So the history of these cooperative societies can be dated back to this pre-independence era in response to the agrarian distress and overall indebtedness. So cooperative societies are basically those societies where the shareholders, or you can say the people who take loan, are the owners. Okay, they are the shareholders of the company, of the cooperative society in fact. That means people come together and form a cooperative society. Okay, so that is the important things what we need to know about these cooperative societies. Now let's move on. And guys, as you know, daily we provide these 5 current affair based MCQs and their solutions. Okay, so these will be based on the current affairs, and every month you will be getting approximately 130 current affair based MCQs in total, more than 130 MCQs. So if you prepare these MCQs properly, then your preparation for the prelims will be covered, because all the questions what we will be framing are in line with the UPSC. Okay, so make the best use of this initiative. You can download these questions and their solutions in a PDF format from the Telegram channel, and the Telegram channel details are there in the description. Now let's begin the discussion. So first question, consider the following statements. First one, the volume of natural gas in its liquid state is about 600 times smaller than its volume in its gaseous state. Second statement, combustion of natural gas does not emit soot, dust or fumes. So here we have to choose the correct answer, and the correct answer is C, both 1 and 2. Because normally if you see the volume, the gas occupies maximum volume and liquid occupies less volume compared to that of gas, and solid occupies much lesser volume compared to that of liquid. So that's why the first statement is right. So in natural gas, the liquid state occupies 600 times less space than that of the gas. And also the combustion of natural gas does not emit soot, dust or fumes. But one thing what you need to know is this natural gas generally will emit the nanoparticles. The nanoparticles will be emitted by the natural gas combustion, which is not which we cannot see with the naked eye. Okay, so here some more information I've given. Actually, why this question was asked is, yesterday the government has inaugurated the country's first private liquefied natural gas facility plant at Nagpur. So remember, where is the first private liquid natural gas plant facility started? It was in Nagpur, Maharashtra. Okay, so this LNG is nothing but the natural gas which has been cooled to a liquid state, that is called as liquefied natural gas. And this natural gas generally in its liquid state means it will be there at a temperature of about minus 260 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is generally used for shipping and storage, because as liquid will occupy less space. Okay, so the transportation will generally happen in this liquid state only. So cryogenic ships will be used for that, for the passage, or you can say for the movement or for the transportation of these kind of material or these kind of gases. Okay, and as I told already, the volume of natural gas in its liquid state is 600 times smaller than its volume in the gaseous state. So now what is natural gas? So natural gas basically is a hydrocarbon. It is the lightest hydrocarbon with 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen atoms. That means CH4. This is the molecular formula of natural gas. So natural gas means CH4. It is the combustion. Okay, the combustion of this natural gas is what makes it unique. It actually releases very less, or you can say no soot, dust or fumes. So you can say to an extent it's very good for the environment compared to that of the petrol and diesel what we are using. So that's why this natural gas is very important. And also the government is pushing to increase the use of natural gas, and the natural gas generally generates 30% less carbon dioxide than the fuel oil and 45% less than the coal, with twofold reduction in nitrogen oxide emissions and very low sulfur dioxide emissions. Okay, so this is all the information what we need to know about the natural gas. Beyond this, there is no need to go. Okay, so if you just remember this information, if there is any question on natural gas, you will be able to answer it. Now let's move on to the next question. The second question, the Kesaria Buddha Stupa, which was in news recently, is located in which state? A. Andhra Pradesh, B. Bihar, C. Uttar Pradesh, and D. Rajasthan. So generally, if you see major stupas, they will be found in Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, and states like Madhya Pradesh, etc. So generally in this belt only you will find major stupas. So here this Kesaria Buddha Stupa is located in Bihar. It is located in Bihar. So why this was in news recently is because of the heavy rainfall in the catchment areas of the Gandak in Nepal over 24-hour period, there was waterlogging in this Kesaria Buddha Stupa. This Kesaria Buddha Stupa is located in the East Champaran district, which is about 120 kilometers from Patna and 30 miles from Vaishali on the Indo-Nepal border. This Kesaria Buddha Stupa is a very important Buddha Stupa, and that is why it is among the nationally protected monuments in Bihar, and it is also regarded as the world's largest stupa. So that's why this is important. Remember this Kesaria Buddha Stupa in Bihar. Okay, so Buddha here at Kesaria said that in his previous birth he ruled as Chakravarti Raja. And the excavations reveals that the terraces with Padakshina path around the stupa. There were Padakshina path around the stupa, and you can say that it is the largest site on the Buddhist route, and Chinese pilgrim Fa Hian and Huan Sang, they have also visited this stupa as per their diaries. Okay, so that is the thing which we need to know about this Kesaria stupa. Now let's move on to the next question. The third question, G6 are gilt-edged instruments, are free gilt-edged instruments. That is the first statement. Second statement, in India, both central government and state government can issue T-bills and bonds or dated securities. So here we have to choose the correct answer. A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2, and D neither 1 nor 2. So here the correct answer is A 1 only. Because the G6 or the risk-free gilt-edged instruments are nothing but the bonds or the bills, the T-bills generally which are released by the central government. Those are called as G6, the government securities. These are risk-free because it is backed by the government of India. It is backed by the sovereign country. So as they are backed by a sovereign entity, they are considered to be risk-free. Okay, so the G6 are nothing but the securities, that means the T-bills or bonds which are released by the government. But when we talk about state government, the state government also releases bonds and bills, but they are called as state developmental loans. So that's the major difference. Okay, so this is what is the major difference. So here I've given some more information. Actually recently the RBI announced RBI Retail Direct Scheme, and this scheme actually is a one-stop solution to facilitate investment in government securities by individual investor, because normally the government securities are risk-free and people try to invest in these kind of securities which have less risk. Okay, so the retail investors will have the facility to open and maintain the retail direct gift account with the RBI, and they can directly invest in the government securities. This RDG account can be opened through online portal, etc. So that's G6, or you can say the gilt-edged free securities. These are basically very, very secure. So all the top investors generally would want to invest in these kind of securities. And the T-bills, if you see the treasury bills, they are usually issued for 91 days, 182 days or 364 days. That means they are generally issued for less than 1 year. So they are practically risk-free, and the bonds which are issued by the state government are called as state developmental loans, as we have discussed. Okay, so this is what is the information that we need to know. Now let's move on to the next question. The fourth question, consider the following statements. Cryptograms are flowerless or seedless plants that reproduce with the help of spores. First statement is that. Second statement, algae, lichens, ferns and fungi are the best known group of cryptograms. So here we have to choose the correct answer. A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2, and D neither 1 nor 2. So here the correct answer is C both 1 and 2. So cryptograms are basically the flowerless or seedless plants. Remember this. There can be a question tomorrow on this, because recently there was the India's first cryptogramic garden was inaugurated in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. So that's why this is important. Okay, so now what are these seedless or flowerless plants? So basically those plants or those species which reproduce asexually. For example, algae, lichens, ferns and fungi. These are the best known group of cryptograms. Okay, so as I told already, recently India's first cryptographic garden was inaugurated in Chakrata town of Dehradun in Uttarakhand. So that's why this is important, and that's why this was in news. So cryptograms are the seedless or the plant-like organisms where they consist, where actually they don't reproduce sexually. That means they don't have any flowers or seeds. A cryptogram is a plant that reproduces with the help of only spores. With the help of spores, so that's why they are called flowerless, seedless, or lower plants. And also another important thing is they need very moist environment to survive. The fungi, etc., they need very moist environment, and they are best present in aquatic and terrestrial places. Algae, bryophytes, lichens, ferns, fungi are the best known type of cryptograms. Now let's move on to the fifth question. Consider the following pairs. So on one side you have the traditional New Year festivals, and on the other side you have the region. So we have to match which traditional festival belongs to which region. So first one is Ashadi Bij, second one Navre, third one Lusong. On the region side you have Gujarat, Kerala and Sikkim. So we have to choose the correct answer. And here the correct answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. Sorry, it's C, 1 and 3. Okay, because Navre belongs to Jammu and Kashmir. Navre belongs to Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so C, 1 and 3 is the correct answer. Now we will see about each of these festival in detail. So recently Prime Minister has greeted people on the auspicious occasion of Ashtadi Bij. Sorry, it is Ashtadi Bij. Okay, and this Ashtadi Bij is generally celebrated in Kutch, and it is the Kutch New Year. It is celebrated on the second day of Shakula Paksha, or a waxing phase of the moon in Ashada month, and it is a Hindu New Year festival which is observed in Kutch region in Gujarat. It is mostly a traditional affair and observed in homes. Lord Ganesha, Goddess Lakshmi and other regional deities are worshipped on this day. Okay, next one is Navre. As I told, Navre is celebrated in Kashmir. Okay, so Navre is celebrated in Kashmir, and it falls on the very first day of Chaitra Navaratras. Next one is Lusong. Lusong belongs to Sikkim. It's the Sikkim New Year festival, the Lusong. And it is usually this time where the farmers rejoice and celebrate their harvest, and it is mostly celebrated in December every year. Okay, so these are the important festivals that we need to remember. Remember, Ashtadi Bij belongs to Kutch, Navre belongs to Kashmir, and Lusong belongs to Sikkim. Remember, Lusong Sikkim, LS, the Navre Kashmir, and Ashtadi Bij Kutch. Now let's look at the question of the day. So where is the new solar thermal component testing facility located? So recently this was in news, so that's why I've asked this question. So do give your answers in the comment box. Tomorrow we are going to discuss these questions. Okay, and guys, we have actually launched all of these initiatives, and we are trying to make preparation easy for you through these initiatives, through the PT365 summary, through the prelims test series summary, through the Vision monthly magazine, through the mains test series summary. So through all of these things, we are trying to ensure that your preparation becomes easy, and things becomes easy for you, and you revise things multiple times. Okay, so make the best use of these initiatives. All the details are given in the Telegram channel. You can just go to the Telegram channel, whose details are there in the description, and make the best use of these initiatives, right? So that's it guys for the day. I'll see you again tomorrow with 5 more MCQs. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. Jai Hind. Thank you.